Hello everybody and welcome back to my channel. My name is Marina. So today I'm going to be doing a kind of scary storytelling type of video. And I found this list of these things that these kids were saying to their parents about sleeping. You know, most children, I think, are usually kind of creeped out a little bit whenever they're going to bed. Some of them are scared of the dark. Some of them are scared of stuff that they've seen in movies and stuff like that. So I thought it would be really interesting. I have read these before and oh my gosh, they gave me goosebumps. It was really just chilling and it was fun. So I thought I would share them with you guys. So this is a list that I found on Facebook and it is 24 parents describe the creepiest things kids have ever said about sleeping. And I hope you guys enjoy it because I surely did. So the first one is called Consequences Comes In Through the Window. And it was written by 2 Kids, 2 Bugs. That's really cute. I have a 3-year-old daughter. She tells me that a red man comes into her room at night through her window. His name is Consequences and he's mean to her. She said he hurts her and stares at her while she is in her bed. She says that he comes in a spaceship with other red men. I have no idea where she would get the material for this story, and she really believes it. I've locked her window for her and pulled the blinds all in an attempt to convince her that no one is getting in through her window. Sometimes in the morning she'll say, "It didn't work, Mama. Consequences got in last night again. I hope it's a phase and it will pass." Oh gosh, can you imagine? That sounds really weird. That sounds more like an alien type thing than a ghost thing. That's really odd. The next one is called The Tall Men Are Walking. And it is from Aeboco, A-E-B-O-C-O. Aeboco? I don't know. And they say, not a parent, but as a young child, aged 3 to 5, I would sleepwalk into my parents' room and quietly stand by their bed. My dad would wake up, find me, and try to put me back to bed. I would tell him I couldn't go back to bed because the tall men are walking. This stopped immediately after moving from this particular house. The tall men comment stopped, the sleepwalking continued, and still happens. Then when I was around 15, we were at church one day, and I overheard one of the younger kids, about 3, ask his parents as they walked away, "Who are those men?" "What men, honey?" "The tall men with a boko." Didn't sleep well for a couple nights after that. I would imagine. That's okay, so this child was seeing tall men with this man, and he apparently saw tall men walking around his room when he was a child. That's really weird. You know, I think sometimes that children are able to see and, sense things that we can't. I said in my last video, I am a strong believer in ghosts. I've always believed in ghosts. I believe in spirits. I believe in all of that stuff. And I feel like animals and children are just very sensitive to this type of thing. So maybe there were tall men standing there with him. It's very creepy. The next one is called It Was Dark and Wet Inside. And this one is by Thumb Wrestle Me. That's funny. Okay, so they say, pretty sure I've posted about this before, but here goes. When my daughter was about 3 years old, she had a sound machine in her room to help her sleep. We typically had it on the babbling brook or nighttime cricket sounds. One night I was putting her to bed and I turned on the sound machine. She had been playing with it earlier and the sound that she had left on it was a beating heart. After a few minutes of laying there with her in the dark, she looked at me and said, "I didn't like being in Mommy's tummy. It was dark and wet, and I don't want to go back in there, okay?" Oh, that's funny. I don't know. You guys let me know what you think about that. Do you think that sometimes kids can remember being in their mother's stomachs? Because that's not the first time that I've heard a story about a child saying that they remember something from the womb. I think it would be really cool if there were kids that could do that. That's interesting. The next one is called That's When the Black Circles Come. Oh God. And it is by Handshape. And they say, when you turn off the lights, that's when the black circles come, he said. They come down like this, holds his hands in the air above his head, and they stay for a second, and then zoop, they go and slide, slapping his hands to his chest. Then, barely holding back tears, I hate it. Oh gosh, that one creeps me out a little bit more. I don't know why. Most of them are like, seeing people or, weird looking people. And this is just black circles. I have no idea what he could mean by that. That's really odd. So the next one is called There's a Man in the House. And it's from Ify. My child had woken up early, so she was watching cartoons next to me in my bed while I tried to wake up. I'd heard a funny sound downstairs earlier, so I mentally blamed the dogs. Then kiddo leans over to me and remarks, "Oh, there's a man in the house. Awake, awake, awake." Never found anything, never got any further details from her either. Oh my goodness gracious, that is creepy. That is so creepy. Okay, so the next one is called The Boy Taught Me at Night. And it is from Sue Daisy. She says, "My then 3-year-old daughter walked downstairs in the morning and said, 'Look what I can do,' and crossed her eyes. I asked her how she learned to do that, and she said, 'The boy taught me at night.' 'What boy?' 'The boy with the glasses. He did this,' as she held her finger up and zoomed into her nose and crossed her eyes. She said he laughed and laughed. Not too scary, right? Only that's how my brother taught me to cross my eyes when I was 5 years old. He died when I was 7 years old." Oh, wow. That's really interesting. That's really sweet, too. That is really sweet. Maybe he did come back and teach her how to cross her eyes just like he did her mother. That's adorable. The next one is called We Can't Invite Her Over Because She's Dead. And the writer is Gave You Base. Right, so they say, "My young daughter said that she made a new friend. Her mother and I are like, 'Cool, hun, what's her name?' 'It's Casey Jr.' So then we ask, when can we invite her over to play? My kid says we can't because she's dead. Later that night, after putting my daughter to bed, I hear laughter and talking coming from her room. I go to investigate. As I get to the door, I hear my daughter say, 'No, Casey, stop tickling me.' Amidst bouts of giggles, I walk into the room quickly, not knowing what to expect. There is my daughter in the room, nothing else, officially creeped out." Wow, that's weird. I've heard lots of stories about, people who hear their kids like talking and it sounds like they're talking to someone else. Sometimes they even hear another voice. That would be awful. Oh my gosh, I don't even know what I would do if that happened. I really don't. So the next one is called Where Did All the People Go? And it is written by Spidey46x2. And they say, "My 9-year-old was sleepwalking, and he came up to me and asked me where all the people he was playing with had went. He doesn't remember it, but insists he plays with other people at night. I'm assuming it's a reoccurring dream, but it still creeped me out." Yeah, that's a little odd too. All of these, I don't really know what to say about these because they are all just, they're so creepy. And I don't know, maybe they wouldn't be that creepy if it was just like, an adult telling you this stuff. You'd think like, oh, they're just crazy, they were just dreaming, stuff like that. But it's kids. It's like 2, 3 to 5-year-old kids. And I know they have like this really broad imagination, but it just really, for some reason, if a kid says it or a kid does it, it's 18 times more creepy. I don't know why. That's why there are kids in all of the scary movies, I think. So the next one is called Open the Door. And it was written by Sidville. And they say, "It was nap time for my 3-year-old son. He went in, slept for an hour, and then woke up and tried opening his bedroom door. He said in his little voice, 'Open the door.' I told him go back to bed, and I hear this creepy deep voice yell, 'Open the door,' as if he was possessed or something. I ran to the door only to find my son standing there looking at me. So creepy, I have goosebumps thinking about it right now." Yeah. See, like I was saying earlier, sometimes people would hear their kids like saying stuff, talking to people, and then sometimes you hear another voice. If it was a deep, scary voice like that on top of any other voice it could be, oh my gosh, yeah, I don't know what I would do. I would probably have to go get a neighbor or a friend or something because I would not be opening that door by myself. Absolutely not. So the next one is called A Lifetime of Sleepwalking, and it was written by Carinza. I believe is how you say it. Although I have 4 kids and they've all said odd/creepy things at one time or another, must be my heretical, bullshit upbringing of them. It's actually me that sent my sister to Nopeville as a child. All my life I've been a restless sleeper. I sleepwalk infrequently, kick and move about a lot, and I also talk in my sleep with startling regularity. My husband found me in my daughter's bedroom, sitting on the end of her bed once watching Dora the Explorer at 3 in the morning. I've pulled the bathroom curtains down and washed them in the toilet because in my dream I was moving into a new house and wanted to hang up clean curtains. We have to keep a safety gate at the top of the stairs so I don't tumble down them in my late night wanderings. Anyway, when I was 9, I shared a bedroom with my elder sister who was 13. My bed was across the room from hers. I was also quite a stickly kid, so my skin was quite pallid and yellow. One night, while my sister was writing late-night emo poetry in her diary full of teen angst, I sat up in my sleep like I was rising from a coffin with my arms crossed over my chest. Opened my eyes, looked directly at her, chanted Jesus Christ, Jesus Christ, Jesus Christ 3 times before closing my eyes and laying back down again. I only woke when my sister ran out of the bedroom shouting, "Dad, Ruth's possessed," and she refused to share a room with me from that night onward. 30 years on and she still says I was the creepiest kid ever and remembers vividly that night. I'm glad that my sister never did anything like that. I am so glad that she never talked in her sleep or sleptwalk or anything like that. Oh man, I would be so terrified of her if she did. So the next one is called His Night Terrors Frightened His Parents. And it was written by Mushperv. Ew. So they say, my oldest has an occasional night terrors. He wakes up cowering and pointing in the corner screaming for me. Sometimes when I get up there, he's terrified and tells me to be quiet because there is something in the corner watching us. Primarily, I feel bad for him, but it does freak me out a bit. I can't imagine what he is seeing. Oh, that reminds me. I actually have sleep paralysis sometimes, and I don't think I have it as bad as most people do. The stuff that I've heard other people have seen and felt and all of this is so much worse than anything that I have ever experienced. I will do a video on it one day if you guys want it. But most of the time when I have sleep paralysis, I will see something standing over in a corner just staring at me. Most of the time it just sits there and it stares and it's still, but then there are some times that it moves a little bit and I'll always hear stuff and stuff like that. It is terrifying. I feel so bad for people who have it and it's worse than mine. Oh my gosh. Well, I feel bad for anybody who has it at all, but if it's worse than mine, I just cannot imagine. Oh my gosh. So the next one is called They Are Everywhere, and it is from Anonymous Redditor. Okay then. These are actually a couple stories my parents told me about myself. One of them is kind of creepy and the other is pretty funny. When I was little, 3 to 6-ish, I had a problem with sleepwalking. Apparently, one night my dad woke up to me standing right next to him with a 1,000-yard stare saying, "I don't want to hurt him, I don't want to hurt him," over and over. When he woke me up, I said, "They are everywhere and they are mad at you." Oh gosh. So that was his first story. Another time, my dad came home late from work, around midnight I think. He came in my room to check on me, and I was sleepwalking again. I had this cheesy little stage magic set that had a plastic top hat, and I was peeing into it saying things like abracadabra, ta-da, and thank you, like I was putting on a show. Oh gosh, kids are weird. That's funny. So the next one is called He Was Speaking in Tongues, and it is by Raticate. Oh, Pokemon Raticate, yay! Okay, so they say, my little brother used to sleep at the top of the stairs with the lights on. Once while he was sleeping there, I got fed up with the lights in the hall being on, so I went to turn them off. On my way over to them, the switch was right above where my little brother was laying. He said something that sounded like words, but it was complete gibberish to me. Sounded like normal sleep talk, so I ignored it. Then, as I was walking back to my room, he sat up and shouted the exact same gibberish to me, word for word. Scared the ever-loving crap out of me. To this day, I'm convinced he was speaking in tongues. Oh, that's odd. Ooh, I don't like that. No. Okay, so the next one is called The Hands Put Her There, and it is by Casho. When my sister was around 2 years old, my parents found her chilling with her head wedged between two bars in the bed frame at the foot of her bed. It was weird because she wasn't crying or distraught, and when my mom asked her how she got her head stuck, she replied that the hands put me there. I grew up in a really old house that was 200 years old, so that just added to the creepy factor. I am really sorry if you guys, stop it, can hear that thud, 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 thud noise. My dog is in here and he was scratching himself and he is still scratching himself. Stop it. Okay, so the next one is called The Man Covered in Black. Are you done? The next one is called The Man Covered in Black Stood by the Bed. And it is from Tommy Salami. That's funny, I like that. So Tommy Salami says, my son likes to wake up at night and come into our room. He isn't really accustomed to sleeping alone. However, this one morning, he was not in our bed. I felt happy that maybe he was getting used to it. And we told him he was becoming a big boy for not sleeping in our room. He told us that he was scared to come in and said there was a man sitting on my side of the bed covered in black. Oh my God. No. Absolutely not. No, no. Okay, so this is the last one, and it's called He Asked for Help. And it is by Sally Berry. My son just turned 2. A few weeks ago, he was having a bad dream, and he was saying, help, help, the way he says it when asking for help putting on his shoes or putting up a blanket like a tent. He's never needed real help. He said bye before we'd gone into his room. Oh my gosh. Oh God, no. Oh, these are so scary. Oh my gosh. I'm like almost glad that was the last one because I'm just sitting in here all by myself and it's super quiet and oh no. Oh my goodness gracious. So those were scary. Most of them were. You know, some of these things could probably be like explained away, and I'm sure most of you have probably explained away at least a couple of these right now. But oh my gosh, just the thought of, you know, what if they actually happened and these kids are actually seeing what they're saying that they are, and all of that stuff. Just, oh my gosh, I cannot imagine. I really can't. I can't imagine being the kid that's saying this stuff. I can't imagine having the kid that's saying this stuff, or the younger sibling or whatever. That would just be awful. Well, let me know in the comments or send me a message if you have me on Facebook, and let me know if your kids or siblings, grandkids, anybody has ever said anything creepy like that or seen anything and told you about it. I think this stuff is really interesting. I think I'll be doing more paranormal type stuff on my channel. Tomorrow, I'm going to have a guest with me, and it is my best friend, Jackie. I think I talked about her in another video. Oh, my clown video, yes. I've talked about her in that one. She's the one that abandoned me before, you know, we go off to find this terrifying clown. But she's coming over tomorrow, and she is going to do a video with me. We're not completely sure what we're going to do yet, but I'm sure it'll either be something related to makeup or paranormal, because those are our two favorite things that we have in common. So I want to thank you guys for watching this video. I really hoped you liked it. If you did and you want to see more, then hit subscribe, become my friend. I'm lonely, and I really hope to see you in my next video tomorrow. Thank you for watching. Bye.